What's poppin', everybody? I was waiting until 7 to stream was setting myself up, but went to PTO naturally, and the first thing I saw was a nice 12.9% NFL touchdown bet for tonight. So let's start off with a quick banger. No longer available, just like that. Let's switch on over. Um, no, it's still available. So at DK, Ty Johnson touchdown. Very quick start to the stream. I know people are just hopping. I just went live, but like I said, I was on PTO. Did you just get ruled out or something? I don't know if I just missed some news. Let me pull up Underdog. Sorry for a little bit of a whirlwind here, but did he just what just happened there? Because I just saw a 12.5% EV on Ty Johnson. I'm gonna search him up actually quickly. And I just locked that in for QU. Let's go to the game. But welcome in. Appreciate everybody for hopping in as always. Trying to find some bets for the boys for tonight's game. We're going to use all the boosts as always, but I did see that quick EV on Ty Johnson and want to get in on a big EV. But I'm looking at Underdog, not seeing anything here. But let's find it manually because that went in and out quickly. The odds that I bet it at are still at DraftKings, but I just want to confirm that the EV was there because that did move quickly. But let's start off quickly with a banger. Ty Johnson. I don't know if he was ruled out or what the situation was. I know they love him in the passing game. We need Buffalo here. There's 2 T Johnsons listed, but plus 650. Yeah, there's value here. So on this bet here at DraftKings, I just bet a plus 650 Ty Johnson touchdown. As always, have that going on my computer. Excuse me, on my phone because I always have location problems. But we're starting off quickly. Ty Johnson plus 650. I was going to wait to again start stream shortly, but I saw that pop up and figured I'm here. I'm ready prepped, so I might as well start betting and getting in. So just like that, we are on the board with a nice bet. Let me again do my normal getting the stream going, getting some people in chat, and let's get ready for Thursday night. Let's do it live now. As always, we're going to use all the boosts on all the books. We're going to make sure we get the most value out of those as possible. We've had a great stream on Monday for prime time then. That was really fantastic. So we're hoping to do that again today. The market average is dropping, so there's clear value on this Ty Johnson. So first bet, lock it in. I'll write it down anyway, even though I bet it. But you know how I do. Always write down the bets that we take. Stream, it's today, 9/18. Ty Johnson, ATTS plus 650 DK. And just like that, we're on the board with a wager, and hopefully we find more. So using the amazing pick the odds, as we always do on Thursday. But I am curious why there's 2 T Johnsons here. Could just be a back end situation here. Who are on this one? Yeah, showing nothing. This is the right Ty Johnson. I don't see any news. If anybody saw any news as to why that popped up, let me know. But looking at Underdog and not seeing anything about Mr. Johnson or anything for the game. But let's run through the EV slate. Then I'll give a holistic overview of the game for tonight, as well as, again, utilizing all of the boosts that we have available to us. And, yeah, we have Thursday Night Football happening as always during the NFL season. Some Thursday night action, always so fun. So I have a filter made for all of the NFL games for the weekend. All these are player props here. Seeing a lot of value on 365, which is honestly annoying being in a non-365 state. And, of course, how they, quickly do limit some people. And it's never a great situation with how 365 likes to run and work. But going to try to focus on tonight. I have Friday stream as well as Sunday morning stream, as you guys know, to lock in the rest of the board as well as some other EV stuff. Never going to turn down some good value. Like right here, this Juwan Johnson, plus 110, Betway best odds, but showing some value to the market there. But let's keep the main thing, and that's Thursday Night Football here. Looking at the matchup, we've seen a lot of movement here from the spread perspective. It was at 12.5, went back to 11.5. Now we're seeing a pretty solid consensus 11.5. What did Circa go to? Are they at 12 or are they at 11 here? No, they're at 11. So some money coming in on Miami, which is not surprising because that is such a massive spread. though of course it's a divisional game, short week. Um, but I don't know. I was talking about it on stream yesterday with Jake that I think the number is a little bit skewed, but now it's getting to 11. I think it makes more sense. Let's take a look at some of these props and try to find some EV stuff. I'll start with some touchdowns. There's the FanDuel jackpot bonus, as they always are doing on primetime, which I hope they keep up. In all the primetime games so far, we've hit touchdown bets on most of them. We just have also had the second to last touchdown in 2 of them, which is unfortunate because you need either the first touchdown or the last touchdown. So we've been really close on there, but always nice to be actually like guaranteeing cash with like the tickets that we were hitting. But overall, heading in some of that big bonuses would be ideal. So let's go through some touchdowns. We'll see where we can find some value. And holistically for this game, so a lot of love for Achane, which I think is actually very much warranted. Of course, Milano is out, Ed Oliver is out. At this point, this was 125, but I was looking earlier today, down to 110. Profit X looking like the best price over here. This bet on OCA is just messing with the averages, unfortunately. But I do expect a big Achane game for a number of reasons. I think that he's going to be their primary target, which he clearly already is. And the defensive injuries to Buffalo, like Matt Milano has really been one of their best linebackers when healthy for the last couple of years, and he's not going to be there for the middle of the field, which is always going to be, a terrible missed. They're going to miss him terribly, especially covering a guy like Achane, who they've just been feeding and feeding and feeding because he's an absolute stud. But let's keep looking for some prices. Let's see, we got Tyreek Hill. What are they listing him at? 175 here, but 190 at Circa. So not seeing some value on Hill with 182 based on the market. So we'll just keep on ripping. And Circa just went to 190 as we're speaking here. Jalen Waddle was listed as questionable, but I think he's definitely a go. Best odds at FanDuel currently, which again is not something that I love to bet, though FanDuel is beatable in the touchdown market, though they're sharper than a DK. But so far, a lot of stuff has been looking like it's there are a lot of things. Obviously, we're an hour before game time here, so we're not expecting to find tons of expected value or anything like that. But we're seeing it live and in person right here. Just got a message that Ty Johnson, his second half touchdown, is 12-1. It's an interesting thought, very interesting. Good potential use for the FanDuel boost, but I locked it in DraftKings as stream goes. But for the Dolphins, we know they're so one-dimensional with who they throw the ball to. We could look at Malik Washington here just out of curiosity. They have given him more rushes than anybody not named Devon Achane, though the Miami Dolphins aren't going to be trying to feed anybody else. They haven't really got Ollie Gordon going. They don't really expect to, it looks like. Malik Washington returned one for a tutty, which is always nice in the return game, the way that it's set up now. But finding some TDs is going to be difficult. We'll definitely be betting first touchdowns as well. And just for the boost, we can, of course, pivot to better markets. But I always want to take a check here. Back to Buffalo. Let's look at Josh Allen. What's he listed at? 139 at Novig, best price with decent liquidity there. Honestly, probably an EV bet for Allen. Is an EV bet for Josh Allen to score a touchdown anytime. So that's an interesting look. Obviously, Allen has all that talent in the world to do so. We'll keep looking here just to take a holistic look at who or what the odds are at for these guys to score. Obviously, total in this game is high. Bookmaker at 138 on Keon. Up to 210 at Rivers. 185 at Circa. 194 over at Profit X with very good liquidity on Keon Coleman. I'm already intrigued by this. A lot of money on the under there, but not really like a crazy amount. Let's we can't pull it up on quick looking here, but we'll get to Keon Coleman because right now that's going on the quote unquote short list. I love myself some Keon Coleman, and I think that we know how bad Miami secondary is, and Keon really could just be WR1 for this team. Then you also have guys like James Cook who are at minus 180, even minus 170 at Circa. So obviously a tough matchup here. Not tough matchup, like an expected Cook to score as he's an animal, though he only has one more rush attempt than Josh Allen does on the red zone. So that's also something worth noting because we know Josh Allen can score touches with the best of them. And when we're at the goal line, it really is a toss-up between these two. Ray Davis, let's take a quick check here. 381. Circa no price on Ray Davis. So we're going to just keep on keeping on, just looking at a lot of these options here. We'll go into some other props and whatnot, but sticking with some tutties. Kincaid, 265 at DK, 280 at FanDuel, but 275 at Circa. Pretty best price at FanDuel, but again, not a ton of value as we're this close to game time, which is unsurprising. Who else are really the usual suspects here? I mean, Josh Palmer. I saw some love for him. 3-1 at Novig, 3-1 around across the board. He's on my short list because I think he's a pretty good player, all things considered, in the way Miami defense looks and how bad they are. If they spread the ball around, he could be a beneficiary because Buffalo does spread it around. Dawson Knox, 537 there. And the last guy I want to look at is Khalil Shakir, 230 at FanDuel, 240 at DraftKings. So nothing crazy. We have boosts to use, and we're absolutely going to be using them. So stay tight with me, just doing a final preliminary look at the touchdown market, and we'll see what else we can find. But right now, so far, Josh Palmer and Keon Coleman standing out to me. Curtis Samuel, I was going to say, I haven't heard much of him this year, though, knowing Buffalo, and Elijah Moore as well, 880, 850. I'm going to do what I did last time and also pull up FTN. Just kind of am curious some of the metrics behind some of these players as well. Want to look at like what exactly the target share for some of these guys are. Let's look at some receiving stats. We're going to filter to the Buffalo Bills. I'll show my screen in 1 second so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about here. Buffalo receiving, we'll take off qualified. Keon, high snap percentage. We'll filter by snap percentage. High snap percentage, then Shakir, then Palmer, then James Cook, Dawson Knox, Kincaid, Jackson Hall. So Elijah Moore only running 23.6% of the snaps there, which is obviously very low. Ty Johnson low, but again, he's a good guy, I think, in the passing game from a running back perspective. So Josh Palmer is my intriguing guy of the day. Let's look at some first touchdown odds, and maybe that's the best way to go about betting on Palmer. We have the boosts, so we can definitely find some EV or like create some of our own EV from some of these boosts. But I'm curious about Josh Palmer. 18-1. So circa the best price of markets are not going to be a ton of value unless we do boost up there. ESPN and 365 are matching that price. What is Keon? Because these are the two guys that I'm definitely targeting, the receivers here that have the most usage. 11.5-1 at Rivers. Of course, Rivers is not widely available and only a little bit better than Circa. So we're seeing a pretty tight board here. Reek is getting some big numbers for a guy like Reek at DraftKings and FanDuel. I mean, I know it hasn't been pretty, though. We did do well. This Buffalo defense is definitely not good. 11.5-point dogs definitely doesn't help the cause here. FanDuel best price on Waddle first touchdown. I'm gonna deliberate, and in that process, we're gonna look at the EV filters and see what we can find. I'm actually gonna make a slight adjustment right quick. I'm gonna try to just focus in on this game only because, we want to just talk about this one within 24 hours. So that's the only NFL game today, which we will hopefully see, and just to see if we could isolate. And there is a possibility that the screen is relatively empty. That's not within 24 hours. So I'm curious if I have to go into everyone individually. That's understandable. Let's just change this to 5 hours and see what happens here. Want to see what we can find for tonight. Of course, it's going to be tough. Yeah, I think I have to go into everything individually, which I'm not too mad about. I'll do that very quickly here. Player props, we have the advanced filters going. I'll just quickly change it to tonight. And the thing is, there could be at this point just like not enough EV to go around here, which is very plausible because of the time that you're betting this game. But because of the boost, we're going to be able to find some of our own stuff here. So let's quickly make some adjustments that I'll have to change tomorrow when I log on. I'm like, why is nothing showing up? It's because we're making some quick changes here just for the sake of betting this game. I probably should have done this earlier, but that's on me, boys. Want to hone in on what we're looking at here, where you already did rushing yards. Let's keep going. But again, if you guys aren't familiar with Pick the Odds, now you get to see how advanced the customization of your EV calcs can be. I know a lot of the people in chat are users, as well as have seen me rocking with PTO for 3+ months now. So appreciate you all. And if you haven't started trying Pick the Odds to at least eventually use it. I don't know what you're dealing with there, what you're waiting for. Also, a little insight into some of the calcs I've been using for some of these markets. I try to keep it pretty tight because I only want to see some things that I really think do have like pretty strong EV, especially from a worst case scenario there. But we do have a couple of things here, which is always nice to see. Starting with a B365 Malik Washington over 2.5 receptions. If you're a 365 user, this is definitely a worthwhile look here. The Profit, Sport Trade, and Penny. There is a lot of value, as you see also to Novig. Minus 134 there. Bookmaker 43, Penny 144. So Malik Washington receptions over 2.5 is something, if you're a 365 user, I would get in on. Similarly, as a Hard Rock user, this is a 4.7%. So plus 110 at Hard Rock, where the rest of the market is minus 114 average. So Reek and Washington, PTO seeing EV on. Those are two bets that I would absolutely look at, and I'm going to write them down. Reek 6 plus 110. Washington 3 plus minus 115. Again, I would be betting these if I had access to either books, but unfortunately I do not. Shakir as well. Shakir 5 plus 135. The ball knower in me doesn't really love that because I think it is like a Keon situation, as well as I like Josh Palmer. But seeing value also on Malik Washington yards, 24 plus. And these are all, as you see, EV bets. We're in like the lower percentage clear in the 2.3%. But if you're using the free version of PTO, you wouldn't even be seeing these because it's a capped at 2%. But I think that's very fair considering how much you get to see for such an amount. Shakir yards minus 110, market average 21, so only 1.7% there. But no, it makes sense that there's not a ton of EV. We literally looked through all the touchdowns and nothing was really sticking out. And these are some of the best bets from an EV standpoint for tonight, though. So I'll do another scroll if you guys can get in on some of these. Novig hanging this price on Shakir makes me a little bit nervous on Shakir, just in the sense that Novig's obviously like sharper, all things considered, with some of the people who are making markets there. So not surprised to with that pricing being the way that it is, I'm not like running to the counter to bet that on Novig, as you guys can clearly see. Knox under 1.5 at Novig as well, only 103 in liquidity, which is decent, all things considered. Only 99 over at PX there. Penny taking $500 limits though, and that's the price on Knox, who, as we looked at earlier at the stat numbers, he is actually out snapping Kincaid, but he's 4 fewer targets than Kincaid. As we know, Knox is more of like a do-it-all, while Kincaid is kind of like a wide receiver in a tight end uniform. Definitely a bigger body guy, but like he operates from the slot a lot as well. Looking at some of these numbers here. So let's go to Miami. I'll pull up FTN briefly to let you see some Miami stuff. I'll obviously read it out loud as well. But we know that they're just a straight funnel. Like Devon Achane, 82% of the snaps, 14 targets. Reek 71. So they're still targeting Reek at a good rate. 11 for Waddle. Malik Washington, again, is that wide receiver. 3 there, but it's straight up just a funnel, which is a good and a bad thing. It's a bad thing in the sense for us as bettors, where you're not going to find value when those 3 guys are the ones who are, showing the most love. But as we see, there is some expected value to be had in the market on Malik Washington. This 23.5 at MGM, it's 110 at 365 as we saw, but this still looks like a good price. Novig 133 with good liquidity to the over. Profit X with good to the under, but a nice price at the over there as well. Could this be the Malik Washington game? I'll go back to the odds screen and we'll look manually. And again, we'll go through all the boosts on FanDuel and DraftKings and get good bets for that as well. Let's go into Dolphins, Bills. I have not bet anything on the game lines here. I don't have a read, and of course we're this close to game time. So there's not going to be any like real value coming here, but let's look at some of the totals and just out of curiosity where we're sitting cross markets. I saw some 49.5s earlier, circle all the way up at 50.5. So points are expected to be scored, and the market is pricing some of these props accordingly. So this could be a nice game to build out an SGP. And actually one of the boosts on DraftKings, which I think is in some respects a little bit criminal. Um, their way that they're doing it, instead of giving you like a Thursday night boost and then the ghost leg parlay, now what they're doing is you have to bet an NFL Thursday night football parlay um, in order to get the ghost leg. So kind of scummy, if you ask me. But with that being said, I'm gonna do it. So we'll see. I wonder what they're gonna give for you. Is there like a max bet you need to bet? Has to be a $10 wager on the SGP, which is around what I'm getting for the boost these days, unfortunately, anyway. So that just makes some sense here. But let's go back to some props here. Actually, I want to look at a different market quickly because I was looking at this on stream yesterday. I didn't bet it, but we'll see where it's at. It was Miami's team total. It was, I think, 17.5 when I was looking at stream last night for a game that's totaled so high. Let's see if that moved. Oh, that's Buffalo. Where's Miami? Miami 17.5 is minus 140 now. So that did move pretty drastically here. 18.5 at FanDuel and DraftKings. Betway with the best price overall. Circa at minus 120. So not like a ton of value on DK here. Okay. So let's build out this SGP so we can get a ghost leg for Sunday and call me a sucker. But I actually, what are we, week 3? So I'm 2 for 2 of my ghost leg parlays that we bet on stream live, and one was 11-1, the other was like 550 or something, plus 550 or something like that. So, you know, I'm definitely going to do what I can to secure this ghosty. I want to look at Achan's rushing yards because obviously he's used so heavily in the pass game, but this number seemed a little low. Miami's offense, of course, is a really big struggle, but yeah, 53.5, 52.5 at FanDuel, which is the best price compared to Circa. I mean, Circa's at 53.5. FanDuel's probably like relative, like I know they're definitely like sharp in some of these other prop markets. But we're gonna build out this SGP. How many legs does it have to be? I'm just curious. Has to be 3-leg SGP with plus 300 odds or greater. Naturally, that's what they're trying to do to us. So let's go back to some touchdowns here. I want to look at maybe some 2+s if we're gonna get a little bit creative here. And we have a 50% profit boost as well on this one on DraftKings as well as FanDuel. Let me pull up FanDuel on my phone as well. I looked at it earlier. Yes, NFL, we have a 50% profit boost and the jackpot touchdown lay, or not lay, but the way that works is for the touchdown jackpot, you bet on somebody anytime tutty. If they score the first or the last touchdown, then you get entered into a pool for some bonus, up to $2 million of bonus bets that gets split up. So it's an interesting one. First touchdowns. So I'm kind of intrigued by Tyreek at 14-1. We have BetSafe. I'm not sure, maybe a Canadian book there, but I'm kind of intrigued. We were looking at the numbers as we saw there. Tyreek, 13 targets, 10 receptions, no touchdowns yet. I'm not convinced that Buffalo's defense is good. I talked about it for a minute. Like, he shut down Justin Fields. I know Tua at this point is obviously not great by any stretch of the imagination either. But all things considered, yeah, just dropped in price there at Novig. All things considered, like, Reek is still Reek. I'm going to go and pull trigger, honestly, on Reek first touchdown. I'm not going to use any of my boosts there, but I'm pulling trigger on FanDuel right now at 14-1. Tyreek Hill first touchdown. I'm in. That's my Miami Dolphin on primetime. Bet both sides just because it's primetime and we're having a good time here. We've actually been hitting. We hit on Keenan on Monday. That was awesome. That was a whole lot of fun, and we've hit a couple on some of these Sundays as well. So I locked it in. Tyreek Hill, first tutty. Pick the odds, showcasing me the best odds. It's amazing. I'm writing it down. Reek FTD 14-1 FD. All right, so now we got to find a Buffalo Bill, and I want to bet Keon Coleman, but the price is like kind of backing me off. Unfortunately, price rules everything, as you guys know. And if you don't know, now you know. Price rules everything when it comes to betting on sports. Looking back at Buffalo's numbers on FTN quickly, just so I want to confirm again on who's been getting these target shares. We know Buffalo likes to spread that ball around. Obviously, Josh is a threat to score anytime he touches the rock. James is a threat to score every time he touches the rock. But Keon for receivers and tight ends, even running backs, highest snap percentage is going to Keon Coleman, and the market is reflecting that. 950 at DK. 14 to 1 at BetSafe. Market average 972. It's like if we did use, actually, let's look at it this way, because we have the touchdown jackpot. Let's look at the odds again for Keon anytime. It's 190 at FanDuel, which is actually the best price. That's what I'm going to do. I'm betting Keon for the first touchdown or for an anytime touchdown with the jackpot bonus. The way that works, minimum $5 wager, and again, if he hits the first touchdown or the last touchdown, then you get a share of a $2 million bonus fund there. So I'm betting Keon Coleman for the touchdown jackpot promo. So right now, locked in from the EV screen, we had good looks on Ty Johnson, anytime touchdown, plus 650 on DraftKings. Reek 6+ catches, plus 110 over at DraftKings. Malik Washington 3+ receptions, minus 115, as well as over 23.5 yards. We saw some expected value on that using PTO, and we'll do a quick double check right after I get this going. Okay, so we still need to use the 50% boost on both books and SGP on DK, and one more first tutty on Buffalo's side. But let's go back to the EV screen and see if anything has been moving in the last 5 minutes, because as we know, that's what happens. Reek again over 5.5. This was plus 110 when we checked a bit ago. So this has moved. Palmer under receptions is showing value at Hard Rock, to Penny, Profit, Novig, and Sport Trade. Easy to see why. Market average is even money, and it's plus 110. So maybe my Palmer love isn't great, but Kincaid 0.9, Reek 0.9, Shakir 0.08. So only a couple of things left, which makes sense. But the things that we spoke about earlier, Malik Washington, that got snatched up. Tyreek 6+ got bet down 5 cents, and Shakir 5+. Is that still here? That's still here at actually moved up some odds. That was plus 135, but I wrote it down as plus 140. So just like that, as you guys, if you are EV bettors, you know how quickly things move and you got to get in. If you guys are newer to EV betting or unfamiliar, yeah, this is how quickly things move in the market when you're seeing prices off, especially when it is at softer books like the of course DraftKings as well, but like the B365s, the Hard Rocks, the Rivers, the MGMs of the world. Unfortunately, those are going to move really quickly on you, and they will limit you quicker than you would think. Unfortunately, like you would think that you need to be winning like tens of thousands plus to be limited. No. You could be down in limited. Gotcha. Let's go back to the game. Let's finalize some of the stuff. I still kind of want to bet Coleman first touchdown, use one of the boosts. We could boost a parlay. Let's put the 50% boost. It doesn't have to be on a straight bet, though. On Monday we hit Herbert 30+ rush yards, boosted to plus 390. That was awesome. And we hit Quentin Johnston boosted to plus 312 or something like that to score a touchdown. That was sick. Okay, getting a question. Yeah, perfect. Back to player props. Let's see what we can build using FanDuel. Achan's rushing receiving was so high. I looked at it earlier in the week here, and I'm curious if that has moved. It was at like 100, I want to say. Yeah, and it's absolutely still at 100. FanDuel with the best price here, 114. Um, Something about it seems a little shady. I don't know. Like shady is definitely not the right word. Because it's not shady. It makes sense. But I don't know. Something about that does seem like it is very inflated. But bookmaker, the best price. Like from an EV perspective, this is the best price. If FanDuel is sharper in this market, then it could be just entirely off base, honestly. Let's look at some sport trade if I could get there quickly. Uh they're at 103.5. Not a ton of liquidity, but under is juiced. So that is interesting to me. But that is a pretty decent gap in yardage there. So I kind of do like this over at FanDuel. I feel like FanDuel, I could be wrong because I know they've been annoying in the past with like not allowing scrimmage yards to be SGP'd. They allow it now. Cook is 99, HN 99 and a half. Let's go to Cooks. I'm seeing 88 and a half here at FanDuel. This is also the best price in market. It could be like a running back palooza here. I also want to look at receptions. Now we're seeing not a ton of EV as we saw on the EV screen from my EV calcs. Because we would be boosting this lay if we do use the boost on this, we would be getting some EV. What is Keon? I'm a huge Keon guy. I really am. 3.5 is plus 120 at FanDuel. Again, we're so close to game time here. Plus 125 at Circa. Novig at 119. I like receptions, like what's 2.5? It's 210. Yeah, like I don't want anything to do with that, to be honest with you guys. 4 receptions. I know he didn't hit that last game. Not that that matters. Of course, new matchup. Played the Jets. We'll see. Palmer, they were showing EV to his unders. We're seeing EV to Malik Washington over. So I'm curious what his receptions are. It's minus 162, so not great at FanDuel. But his receiving yards, let's find out. I mean, Keon, so to me, like Keon's receiving prop at FanDuel currently is 43.5. He is obviously a boomer bust kind of guy. That makes sense as like his median number here. But Washington is 24.5 minus 113. It's the best price, minus 112 at DraftKings. So what we'll do is we'll kind of build them simultaneously and see which one's the better price. I know game time is soonish, so we have bet again. Ty Johnson anytime touchdown plus 650. Saw some value on some Malik Washington overs, receiving yards and receptions. Shakir also, though that's still there. Tyreek Hill first touchdown, and also saw Tyreek 6+ receptions. So let's actually build it with the boost on FanDuel using some of the stuff that we already kind of like or saw EV in. So I'm going to add here. I'll build it out actually on screen, but I will actually build it and embed it on my phone because again, I always have location problems, but PTO's one click makes everything so easy. So I'm going to have Malik Washington 24.5. That is, we're seeing some EV there. Actually, I just saw the most receiving yards market, and that is just also always intriguing to me. Let's see what the most rushing yards market is. I'm guessing it's really not that great yet. Achan's 180. So nothing there. But Malik Washington over 24.5. That's something that we saw value on. Receptions, Tyreek Hill over 5.5 minus 112. So that's actually really not great there, but we'll build quickly and see where we come to. I'll be going back and forth between PTO because we've got to find the value there, but in the process of figuring some stuff out. And I probably should build it on DK as well, because as we know, sometimes, or if you guys haven't been paying attention, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are, I've been seeing way too many cases where there isn't even correlation, and DK is basically, or like FanDuel has better odds on the straights without correlation tax, and the odds of the lay have been worse than at DraftKings, which to me is like what's going on, honestly. But I'm going to build the same thing at DK just for comparisons here, and we'll decide what to use the boost on. Malik Washington 25 plus minus 112. Well, that's Jalen Waddle. I was like, what? How those odds just move? was like, where did I click? All right. What's the over under? Because obviously, like they do different prices on these things. Also did see value on 3+ receptions here. So actually it's minus 142. Yeah, so that is like entirely different. Keon Coleman. No, we're looking for Malik Washington. Yeah, it's 24.5. So it's the same price. So that's a good start at least. On DraftKings, we'll go back to PTO quickly and keep building. Saw value in Reek. So let's look at Reek receptions. Tyreek Hill. We have again a Reek first touchdown, so he better be catching the football tonight. 116 at here, best odds, still at Hard Rock 105. This alt line though, best price compared to FanDuel, ESPN. Market average 254. Where else? Who else is hanging that? Unibet. That way it's got the same price there. Because if like Sport Trade is hanging that at 227, so not a ton. But would we have a rebet? Yeah, interesting. We're not gonna drop those odds. We'll stick to that. So I'm gonna add to both of these lays here. Reek 6+ catches. Now again, this is like absolutely negative correlation here because we're betting on two different receivers on the same team to do some good stuff. Because correlation in the fact that Miami's passing offense has to be competent, and that is not a guarantee. Though I do think that this is, as somebody, so I guess I haven't spoken a ton about the game right on this stream because I've spoken about it a lot on stream on Wednesday. I had been, if you guys have been watching stream, you guys know that I've been like anti-Miami, like coming into the season. Like I was like, Miami's not a good football team. I think they could be in competition for the worst record in the league. And so far, those things have been proven to be true. But overall, I don't know if like we saw the market go back into Miami. And I think that like this is kind of like the last hope. Like I think that they could have won that Patriots game realistically. Like they just botched down the stretch there, unfortunately. They could have pulled something out of a hat there. I wouldn't even say kind of a hat. Like I had the Patriots in that game, as you guys know, and I would consider myself lucky that got to the window, honestly. So just some food for thought of like how. Also, it's not like the Patriots are a good team, so I just want to also make that clear. It's not like they just like barely lost to like a very good team or anything like that. Like that is not the case. But just maybe like, cause I know Miami's not a good team. Like they're not going to make a Super Bowl run out of the blue or do anything like that. But they're intriguing. I want to look at some Coleman receiving yards. I'm huge on Coleman. We have him for the touchdown jackpot entry. Obviously, at the end of the day, without competent projections per se, where is it? What am I looking for? I'm looking for receiving yards. Why am I missing some stuff? There we go. What's my best bet? Great question. So far from like a highest EV standpoint, have seen some of the highest EV on Malik Washington, 3+ receptions at minus 115. That was one of the best bets that we have for today. So if you had to ask what my best bet was, I would say Malik Washington, 3+ receptions is my best bet. What are some key on alts looking like? FanDuel 50+ best in market here. So I'm going to actually add that to our lay on FanDuel. Keon Coleman, 50+ receiving yards. So this gets us to 544. We do have the boost. Could be used on the straight, so we don't need to be putting that on anything crazy here. Receiving yards, building out lays on multiple freaking platforms. The save lay, all good. Doing it for the boys here. Keon Coleman, all receiving yards, 50+. With the boost, goes to 817. I feel like we could find a little something to maximize that. I'm going to also add it on DK because there's a 50% boost there as well. And we're going to see what we can get. Bet another first touchdown, and we'll keep betting here. Am I looking for here? Because the odds are this is going to be a good test right now because the odds as we saw for Keon were plus 102, 525 to 544. So far FanDuel not screwing on price. We have Arik from our EV props. We have Washington from our EV. We have Keon from projections here, and like let's just be square as can be. And if we just bet Buffalo money line, I'm curious if that even gets us to 10 to 1. Let's get us 10 to 1, honestly, on FanDuel. That's with the boost, of course, with the boost. I'm going to build on DK quickly on my phone here because I am curious. DK has a 50% boost as well. So we'll see what we can get. We have Keon, 50 plus receptions or receiving yards. Malik Washington is 25 plus. What if I switch that with receptions out of curiosity? Because I do think that I might, because we saw more EV actually on receptions, did we not? Let's see. Let's go back to the EV screen and see if anything popped up here. Again, the price is different, but we are going to be boosting. Let me take out Malik receiving yards and let's go to receptions there. Receiving props, total receptions. Malik Washington is minus 156. Okay, so that's a very big difference there. And then FanDuel did have the best price in market, though. FanDuel is sharper on some of this stuff. Let's see if there's any like last minute EV here. Waddle showing a lot of value over on Hard Rock at even money, plus on 49.5 receiving yards. Market average 123, DVIG 2, Penny, and Profit. So we have Keon Coleman there. We have, I hate how DraftKings like puts their markets. It's actually so annoying. Really just trying to make you SGP and that's it. Malik Washington, Bills ML. And what was the final leg there? It was Keon 50 plus and Reek over 5.5 receptions. Yeah, this isn't going to get us anywhere. 6 plus minus 1, whatever. Tyreek Hill plus 675 with the boost. 10-13. So it actually is better odds. It's 10.09 on FanDuel. It's 10-13. And the odds of the streets are actually worse there. What's my max there? It's a $5 max bet, man. And the difference is on FanDuel, it's a $10 max. And I'd rather I'm going to, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to bet it on DraftKings and I'm going to use the boost on something else on FanDuel. Also have, so now that we bet this SGP, does that count for the ghost leg? That's a good question because I don't know. I guess maybe not. Okay, I'm actually going to, what I'm going to do, I'm betting that same thing twice. I'm betting it one time with the boost with EV at plus 10-13. I'm also going to bet it as well for the ghost leg bet and get. So that was the issue, is that you could not combine them, which makes sense. That flew off the board there. Cook receiving yards showing value. So maybe that's a pivot here, or rushing yards, excuse me. So that's probably a bad process by me. I'm going to get rid of Bill's money line because why would I even have that at this point? And I'm going to add that leg right now, 72.5 for under on James Cook. We're seeing value. I'm adding that to the leg. That brings us to 11 to 1 for the bet and get, and rocking the same parlay except let's do an alt there. We're going to take out Malik Washington receiving yards, and we're going to do Malik Washington 3+ receptions. That's still 10 to 1. Okay. So here's what I just did. I bet the same parlay, 2 different variations, one for the 50% boost, which is a $5 max, and one for the bet and get, which was a $10 minimum. So we have one parlay of Keon Coleman 50+ receiving yards, Greek 5+ over 5.5 receptions, Bills money line, Malik Washington over 24.5 receiving yards. Then we have a parlay to get the ghost leg parlay for Sunday. Keon Coleman 50+ receiving yards, Malik Washington 3+ receptions, James Cook under 72.5 rushing yards, and Enrique over 5.5 receptions. So those are those plays that came from EV spots that are also now EV with the boost. And this Cook number is looking like a good price at 72.5. I want to see what FanDuel is actually on that. But we still have one more boost to use and a first touchdown to find, and we'll go from there. So, okay, let's see what FanDuel's number is. I mean, I could honestly just check it here quicker at this point, though. PTO obviously is the best for seeing the whole market, which is the more important thing. But we'll get back to that. It's 69.5, so that's actually worth betting straight. I'm betting that straight. I am betting James Cook under 72.5 rushing yards straight right now on my phone. Where'd he go? Rushing props. We saw EV. James Cook under 72.5 minus 111. I'm in. I just bet that. Let's go back to player props and let's get that going quickly here. Rushing yards. This is why, man. Like EV, of course, like we know that games are, more efficient right before start, and like the market has everything priced in. But if you're quick and you're looking at the right stuff, which if you're glued to the screen, like I can be at times, you're gonna be finding some stuff. And um, I want James Cook, man. Yeah, minus 111 right there, best price. I'm in. So there, we very find EV. Like I missed out on some of the other books with the EV, but just like that, we find a beautiful number, um, and we get in. Beautiful. All right, let's find another first touchdown to round out. Cook, U 72.5 rush minus 111. DK, that is another nice EV bet that we have. Again, reminder of what we have gotten since the start of stream. Ty Johnson, anytime touchdown plus 650. If you got in, Reek 6+ receiving yards plus 6+ receptions plus 110. Blake Washington 3+ receptions minus 115 or over 23.5 minus 115. Khalil Shakir 5+ receptions was 135, though that was also on Novig, so kind of staying away from that personally. Tyreek Hill first touchdown. James Cook under 72.5 rush yards. Keon Coleman for the touchdown jackpot, anytime touchdown on FanDuel. So now we have to find a bill for a first touchdown and use the FanDuel boost. We might use the boost on the first touchdown. That is also TBD. But let's keep looking at the market here. Of course, we got like 30 till game time. I'll go right up until then, and let's keep rocking. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rocking. First tutties. So we have technically first tutty exposure, though not with the odds that a first touchdown is on Mr. Keon Coleman. We are in the Buffalo mindset now because we have Reek at 14-1 for tonight. Let's see. Let's go to Kincaid. Also 14-1, which is very good to Circa. I'm intrigued by Kincaid. 16-1 at some of these books if you have them. 18-1 at BetSafe. So EV perspective, Kincaid, that might have just answered our question. Knox. And going back to the advanced stats here, Kincaid has the filter targets here. And then again, it's so hard for Buffalo because of James Cook and Josh Allen, just like vulture anything and everything. Dawson Knox scored a first tutty already this year, 25-1 at 365 DK and FD. Good value to FanDuel, so that could be an option right there. I don't know what my obsession with Josh Palmer. Maybe it's just the fact that he does have 12 targets, which is second. In the red zone, he has one end zone target. No touchdowns, of course, but it's not like they haven't thrown him the football. Or Kincaid scored that first tutty. Yeah, it was Kincaid. It wasn't Knox, which makes a lot more sense, of course. So that's why this price is probably the way it is. I have had some fun betting on some Knox, but let's go back to Palmer here. He is being priced, I feel like, as he should be, and with Circa having the best one, like we could use the FanDuel boost on it. I mean, we could just now the question is how much do we think Shakir is going to get back in the mix? It's not like he's out of the mix. He has a higher snap percentage, so he's playing. We know that they love some Khalil Shakir over in Buffalo. 14-1. 13 to 1 at Circa. Not a ton of EV there. Because again, if you just go to like Josh and you go to James, like, okay, like sick. Let's go to Josh. Like sick. Circa. I mean, sick at Circa. Plus 670 if you're in a Circa state. Even though they're the best price and they're a great book to DVig from, I mean, 670. That's way off, and that can make sense. So Keon's out. It's between what I forgot what Kincaid was. Kincaid actually at 14 to 1 is good price. So it's between Kincaid, not Josh Palmer, 15 to 1, though bad value to Circa, so we'll get Palmer out of there. It's between Kincaid and Shakir. Shakir with the 14 to 1. I'm going with Shakir. Shakir again, snap percentage, second most of any wide receiver on the team. Has not seen an end zone target yet this year. His EPA is a little bit low. We know he was a little bit banged up, but overall, Shakir has been that guy for Buffalo. Let's see, like deep receiving stats, courtesy of FTN. I'm pulling them up. Keon's got the highest with 14 targets, 20 plus yards. So they are throwing their deep balls. Percentage of deep targets that were converted to receptions. That's obviously a small. No really explosive 20-plus yard passing. Literally 0 for Buffalo so far in the end zone, which it's not too surprising. It's obviously week 3, and it's not like an easy thing to do. And with the Jets, they just toyed around with them all freaking game. Overall usage here, targets again, Keon, Palmer, Shakir, Shakir third in yards, snap percentage, though Shakir second in snap percentages, route percentages, still second for Shakir. Opportunity share, he is behind Palmer technically because Palmer has more targets. Cook, of course, a dominating 26.8% opportunity percentage with Keon second at 9.4. We have exposure to. I'm ripping Shakir, man. That secondary is so bad. Shakir first touchdown. DraftKings 14 to 1. If you have BetSafe at BetSafe with the best price in market, but from one of the other like recreational books that are widely available, or even not that widely available, but like are available in the US at least. That's so clear Shakir first touchdown. I'm in. So we have Shakir for the Bills, Reek for the Dolphins, and I can't wait to watch James Cook score the first touchdown, because why wouldn't he score the first touchdown? Look at those odds here. We're going to use the FanDuel boost and call it a day. We'll check the we will check the EV screen one more time, see if there's any last minute stuff. Then we'll check the boost. Then we'll check the EV. Oh, we'll find use for the boost. Then we'll check again one more time, and then we'll go from there. Let's go to the NFL TDs. It is all props. Still showing 5.8% value here to James Cook under rushing. So if you guys did not get in yet, still available. I'll confirm that here with a one click. Yep, minus 111, still there. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's keep going here. 7% there, 5.8. This anytime touchdown. Ty Johnson. We bet this earlier. It's still here, 5.1%. Market did go up a little bit, FanDuel 550, but again, to profit and to Novig, I bet that. I really like that a lot. Knowing how he kind of plays there. So that is in. Waddle showing some value at 365. Cook under rushing, same odds, not same odds, 5 cents off, but same number at ESPN, 4.1. So if for whatever reason you're limited at DK, but not ESPN, get in there. While receiving yards here, Malik Washington, we actually lost a yard, unfortunately, because that was 24.5 in the parlay. So that is a little bit less than ideal, but is the way of the road. Not every market's going to go on your way. If you do get CLV in every single one of your bets, and it is a good one, I love that. It's got a text from my cousin. Might be a little nuts here. I'm thinking Ali Gordon anytime tutty. I'm saying I think you're crazy. Unless it really is a blowout, unless it's a massive blowout and it's fourth Q, which is definitely in the realm of possibility. So don't get me wrong there. I do want to, I'll check back there, but final look through here. This Malik Washington over, we saw value at minus 110. It's minus 112. Actually, it was minus 115. I wrote it down. There is value at FanDuel. Let's confirm this here because this actually might be a bet, like straight up. Yeah, I think it is. That number definitely moved. Unfortunately, for our tickets purposes, it's just it's all in the game. We have 25 plus. If he gets neither, that would obviously suck. But I am betting that. So, not Keon Coleman. I just honestly at this point, like receiving props. What's Malik Washington's alternate line? Maybe we can do that. I'll finish running through this quickly. In terms of just EV, so Malik Washington, the Reek, that one dropped. Cook receiving yards is low. We're in the ones here. Under is showing value at Novig, which actually does make me like the over here. Under showing value only 0.7 at MGM. 0.4. So we're in the low EVs there. But let's look at two things here. Let's look at some alternate lines for Malik Washington. And then let's lock in the boost. Maybe there is a good opportunity here to boost Washington at an alternate line that's pretty high, though it's obviously he's not like he's this amazing player by any means. As a matter of fact, he's not. He had a sick kickoff return. Don't get me wrong. Or was it a punt? It was a punt, I think. Either way, it was sick, and he found the end zone. Malik Washington, again, seeing value at FanDuel here. Circuit not even posting a price on him. 30 plus is 138. 40 plus 255. And 50 plus is 430. But MGM the best price there, which is not saying all too much. I'm going to pull up Miami quickly here. I know we're getting up until game time, but we have a bunch of bets here. So this is just the cherries on top right now. League Washington usage is 11.2%. It's the same usage actually as Jalen Waddle because he does get the ball on the ground, which would not help this bet whatsoever. Maybe I'm just talking myself into nothing here, but there was value on the baseline for Malik at 112. So that is actually a bet for sure. So Malik Washington over 23.5 receiving yards. Boom, 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 minus 112. Locked in. That was let me confirm the EV. And then we have our first targets. We have one more boost to use. We'll utilize that and we'll go there. Get it off the default. Go back to our game lines here. I think it was like 3.8%, which is solid, especially this close to game time. No, not game lines. NFL TDs, which I wish I could rename the filter because it's not a TD. Nick Westbrook-Akine out of the woodwork. 3.9%. So I like that. I like that a lot. Nick Westbrook-Akine, am I getting in? Like what? Only $40 on NV. 368 actually. Here, I'm sprinkling this. Let's just do a confirmation. I don't even know. He's got to be on Buffalo, right? I kind of like this guy. Obviously, he spent a lot of time in Tennessee, if not his whole career at this point. What am I missing? Again, I actually genuinely don't know which team he's on. That's like, so that guy probably should. I mean, EV is EV. So like at that point, it's really not like necessarily important. Report from Rap Sheet 41 minutes ago. Dolphins owner Stephen Ross doesn't want to fire head coach Mike McDaniel. Nothing is imminent on that front, but that can change. Josh Allen can fire Mike McDaniel himself tonight. That is absolutely on the horizon. Westbrook-Akine, he's on the Dolphins. That makes me like it more, believe it or not. I'm betting this at 950. I'm betting this at 950. What's that, FanDuel? Maybe we just boost that at FanDuel? No longer available. It is absolutely available. I'm staring at it. Let's see if he's even listed on FD. Because maybe I just use the boost on that and then we call it a day. If you have like a better or a higher limit on your boost, then like maybe you stay away. But based on what my limits are, um, I'm kind of down 7-1. So with the boost, it's not even going to get us to anything worthwhile. I mean, it's going to get us over DraftKings, which might just be like all we need to do here. Keon went up to 2-1 on an anytime tutty. I'm calling lack of ball knowing because he's absolutely scoring a tutty. I'm using my last boost on Westbrook Akine. It's 1050 on FanDuel, which is more EV than what we saw on the 950. This guy might not even run a route, which means we would actually, I don't know if stopping on the field, I know that should be a void, but either way, give me all the Nick Westbrook Akine. I think that is hilarious. I know he's like relatively, didn't hate him like from a talent perspective. But that's it for all the stuff we wanted to bet. From a game line perspective, we used the both boosts. We used the bet and get, so we have a confirmed beautiful thing to bet on Sunday. We have a ghost leg, and we were 2-0 in ghost leg parlays this year, both using the ghost leg. So it's not like we cash out the full thing. But last week's was 11-1. It was an Achane Drake May tidy parlay, and also the final leg was Brees. But May was the 550 odds, or I think it was plus 550. Brought that whole thing to 11-1. So that was beautiful. And Sunday, of course, I'll be streaming at 10:30 Eastern with PTO because they've made us so much money so far this season. It's been amazing. If you guys aren't using PTO, I actually quote tweeted, so I'll drop the link also under the stream as well. But click the link and start using PTO. It's a tool that professional sports bettors use. Like, this is as good of a software as you realistically can ask for in the space. And it's also cheap compared to other tools, and they're always constantly innovating. They're often creating updates for every single part of the platform. Like, literally, I don't know. I do know how, because they're the heads is, I mean, it's in the best way possible, is a nutcase in the sense where he's always making the platform better at every given second he can. So that is an absolute compliment. Shout out to the team there. They're amazing. They're constantly innovating, constantly making the platform better for the user. Okay, I just want to check the Westbrook Akine odds again. Of course, we're about 10-15 till game time, which is always fun. I'm gonna check Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright for my cousin, because he's interested, and I haven't even looked at the price. So maybe I didn't do my due diligence shopping some of those numbers there. But let's see. Is Westbrook Akine even listed? He's gotta be. Okay. So with the boost, it was 1050. So I used my boost there for the low stakes. This bet on, I got to tell the team that this one's been popping up, and I have it clicked out. Like, I told the odds screen not to use it, so there's probably a little bit of a bug there. I'm sure they'll get it fixed immediately. 950 if you already used your boost is a good price. Use. But let's look at Ollie, and let's look at Jalen Wright, just out of curiosity here, because maybe there is some value. Novig 144. So if you're sprinkling, get in on Novig there. Let's pull it up. I feel like we would expect those odds to be a little bit better, considering the fact that this man, I'm going to pull up the exact numbers courtesy of FTN there. This man is not seeing the field whatsoever. But yeah, Ollie Gordon with the best price in market at Novig, 614, 199 bucks liquidity. So like a decent amount of liquidity there, for sure. 185, 576. The under though, 5K. So people are saying there's no way in hell Ollie Gordon's scoring a touchdown. My cousin though disagrees. So maybe it's a family affair here. Akine, 5 targets, 2 reception, 25 yards. Ollie Gordon, 2 targets, 2 receptions. Total opportunities, 5.1%. Akine, 5.1. So it's a much better price for a guy with similar attempts. Of course, like Ollie Gordon being on the ground is different. Let me pull up some of the rushing numbers here. 18 snaps total, 3 attempts, 12 yards. From a usage perspective, Ollie is touching the ball 2.5 times a game, 1.5 attempts per game. Obviously a rookie, so that could, definitely just like increase as they build trust in whether it be pass protection or just general. I don't know, maybe he's got a fumbling problem in practice. I'm sure we would have seen some tweets about that by now. Just speculating there. But I think he said Jalen Wright is also back. I haven't kept up enough attention there. Obviously, I haven't been like honing in on any of those players to like think about those things. But let's see the odds there, if there are. 16-20 ESPN is crazy. I'm going to do a quick Twitter search really quickly here. Also, how do you spell this guy's name? Is it Jalen with an Y? Jalen Wright. Yeah. Okay, Jalen Wright. Let's see the news. Dolphins final inactive report. So Jalen Wright. So Wright is absolutely playing. My cousin dead on there. Absolutely playing at 16-1. I'm gonna look at 2024 quickly just to see. Get off qualified. We don't need any qualified nonsense here. 68 attempts last year. Of course, Mostert was in town. HN, of course, banged up a good chunk there. 158 snaps, 14%, 3% share. It could be, I don't know if like the Ollie lack of playing is one is because how do you take Devon HN off the field? The answer is you don't and you can't. Ollie, of course, is the new shiny toy, but it's not like, Wright's obviously he's 22 years old, second-year player. Don't hate me if I do a little something here. Don't hate me if I take a little peek at some Jalen Wright. Power Hour. What is this promo? I'm actually not familiar with that promo. I should maybe get acquainted with it, start betting that a little bit more often. Ollie Gordon's 550, Akine 7-1 here as well. Jalen Wright 16-1. I don't know. Listen, don't mind if I do. Is that allowed? Am I allowed to sprinkle some Jalen Wright 16-1? First game back, clearly not a ton of usage for Ollie Gordon. Could be a potential blowout. Is anyone gonna get mad if we have a little bit of fun and bet some Jalen Wright 16-1 touchdown? Because I'm in. I'm in on Jalen Wright first anytime. So recap of everything, ladies and gentlemen. Ty Johnson anytime plus 650. Tyreek Hill first touchdown 14-1. Keon Coleman anytime using FanDuel's touchdown jackpot entry is plus 190, though that did move if I'm not mistaken. The movement at this point to game time, I'm not deterred by that. We have a chance for some big bonus bets. What's the 2-1? Still 5 cents better than Circa. So not ideal, but it is what it is. 2 parlays on DraftKings just because we have to use some of the stuff we had. Keon Coleman, 50-plus receiving yards. Malik Washington, plus receptions. James Cook, under 72.5 rushing yards. And Tyreek Hill, over 5.5 receptions. That's so we can get the ghost leg for Sunday, which has been great for us. And this is such a terrible marketing ploy in terms of like screwing us over by not giving us to us for free or giving us the boost by making us bet to get the ghost leg, because I have a hunch that they're getting a little bit killed by that. We're 2-0. Let's make it 3-0 this weekend. We're in. Let's screw them over. Other boost with the parlay, with the 50% boost for DK, we have Keon Coleman, 50-plus receiving yards again. Reek, over 5.5 receptions again. Bills money line, Malik Washington, over 24.5 receiving yards. Straight bet, James Cook, under 72.5 rushing yards. Malik Washington, over 23.5 receiving yards. That's at DraftKings and FanDuel, respectively. Nick Westbrook-Akine, anytime tutty using the FanDuel Boost plus 1050. Jalen Wright, 1+ touchdown, plus 1600 at ESPN. And other things that we saw. We saw Reek 6+ receptions at plus 110. If you had those books available to you, that's another good one. But that's going to wrap it up, boys. Game starts at 8. I'll be streaming tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. I'll be streaming Sunday at 10:30 Eastern. That's going to be awesome. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, hit that follow. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following @GoBetSmart. And guys, try Pick the Odds. Pick the Odds, that app. I put the link to try it under the post. So make sure you give it a look. You can make your whole 1-month subscription using the free trial and then make your money in 24 hours using arbitrage and plus EV. And then the rest is just cake. It's an amazing platform. The team is absolutely amazing. Huge fan of everybody, of what they do. They do it right, and they have such an amazing product. So shout out to everybody for hopping in. It was a great stream. We'll be back tomorrow. Good luck with your